My brother and I are headed down to Flint right now. We're going to go to some of the sites that I talk about in the song and just do this video. Right, Bob? Right. My earliest recollection of Flint was that it was a place my dad worked for a while in the early 60s when he was employed at the Buick plant. And it was a town we passed through when we drove from our home in Bay City down to visit my relatives in the Detroit area. I've always been kind of proud of the fact that the rock band Grand Funk Railroad was from Flint. And so was Bozo the Clown. Well, the years went by, and I've lived elsewhere than Michigan for most of my life, hearing of Flint in the media occasionally when there was talk of the devastation wreaked upon Michigan towns by the flight of the automobile industry. Then, of course, there was the Michael Moore film, Roger and Me, that documented the incredible indifference displayed by some people while the town continued to implode. Well, nowadays I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm a songwriter, and I play in a local rock band. A little over a year ago, when I was looking for musicians to play with, I worked with a local guitar player and a singer by the name of Ryan Kildee. It didn't take me long to find out that Ryan was from Flint and that his dad was Michigan Congressman Dan Kildee. We talked about co-writing some music, and then one day Ryan came around with some lyrics about his hometown, Flint. I came up with some music for it, a few more lyrics, but that was about it. We didn't really do anything with the song. His wife was about to have another baby, and, well, so it goes for us aspiring rock stars. For a while, anyway. But then, this past January, after I heard about the state of emergency being declared regarding Flint's water crisis, I dug up the song and I finished it, adding a couple more verses and polishing off the music. The song was one of those topical songs that needed to be heard, so I sat down a few weeks ago and recorded myself on my phone video. I put it on Facebook, and I got a lot of response. It just so happened that I had a trip scheduled to go back and see my family early this month. Well, before I left, I grabbed my video camera, and by the time I arrived, I had decided to do a music video and re-record the song a little more professionally. My brother Bob jumped on board with me, and we promptly headed down to Flint and began to shoot video. It just so happened that the President of the United States was flying into Flint that day, too. We saw Air Force One come in. He was headed over to speak at a local food bank. A little bit later, we saw people on the streets with signs outside that food bank demanding the arrest of some public officials. We met some very wonderful, incredible people that day, and we videoed them, and I'd like you to meet them too. So, and your name again is?
Sandra S. Jones from Greater Holy Temple, Church of God in Christ. Church of God in Christ. You know, we have volunteers, and let me say this. We need people to know that that crisis is not over. Because in Houston, Louisiana, Mississippi, states that have been hit by weather, you can see the devastation. But here, we're going about our normal business. So you cannot physically see the devastation. So it's so easy to forget about us. And but the devastation for us, for our children and our grandchildren, is going to last a lifetime. You can go and build a new home. You can go and build new roads. But once that life has been affected by the chemicals, it's not just the lead, but now you've got the chemicals going through the pipes to try to clear up the corrosion, and we don't trust it.
Bishop Roger L. Jones and the pastor of the church over there, and we're glad you came.
Thank you. Is there anything that you would like to say that you feel is important to be made known?
Yeah, this is really a poison city, and this is almost a crime scene. It's 100,000 residents in the city of Flint. 60% are minorities, and 40% live below the poverty line. So we have a very serious problem here. We have people coming through our line. We had one man that come through with 4 grandsons. Went to one of the elementary schools here. All 4 of his grandkids have been lead poisoned, 3.5 per billion. That's poison. We cannot even predict what happened to these kids. We got all kinds of rashes and people whose hair is falling out. I mean, these are not horror stories. These are everyday stories. So one of the thing we do not have in Flint right now is hope. Like it's almost like genocide. You got one of the most horrific global problems in America, and it seems like nobody cares.
Well, with the decline of Flint, Michigan, things that have happened over the past 30 years, with the water crisis being the next thing that's hit, it's just added, insult to injury. One of the things that we, the residents of Flint, we have to recognize on a daily basis, it's such a normal thing to just go to the faucet, turn on, brush your teeth. We have to constantly remind ourselves. You can't wash your food like you would rinse off your chicken or your fish with regular tap water. No, you got to go get bottled water to do that. You have to, before you brush your teeth, you got to use it out of a bottled water. And it literally and totally changes your whole lifestyle. The other day I was watching a young man walking about 1.5 miles with one case of water just so he can have water for the day. So when I saw that, me and my wife, we loaded up our van with about 30 cases and brought it to his house. And when we opened up the door, it's 3 generations in there, from his grandmother, his mother, him, and his children. And all of them trying to survive off 1 case of water a day, because that's all he can carry, because they don't have transportation. So it's more than a notion when you watching it on TV and, oh, the water is bad. No, the everyday struggle of what you have to do just to survive for that day, knowing that you got to wake up and do it again, and you hear nothing of solution, nothing of, okay, just a week more of this and it'll be over. This is our lifestyle now.
We videoed a once highly productive city in what now felt like it was in its quiet throes of death. I really hope that's not true. I really do.